Oh, hi! Today we're gonna make phase 3 of my femme Rocketman crocodile rock scene outfit. We're basically making a circle skirt with an elastic waistband, and it's gonna go together so fast. There's a thought I had as far as attaching the elastic to the fabric. That seems like a little wonky, but I want the elastic to be fully exposed, which is not something I've done before. I can't imagine it's gonna be hard, but it goes against how I make things. For example, this is another elastic waistband skirt I made ages ago, and I'm actually about to remake this because I never wear it just as a skirt. We'll get to that when we get to it. I sewed this so that the elastic and the fabric were right sides together, and you can't see the bottom edge of the elastic, but I want the whole thing to be exposed. Here is my dress form that I've been piecing everything onto. So I kind of did like a rough layout. Here's the ridiculous fucking crop top I made. This is the elastic I want, and it's just going to be a white bottom. Everything always feels more complicated before you get into it, so part of me is like, can I do this quickly? I already prepped my machines. That's always something that keeps me from doing a quick project, is if I have to change the thread color on that. And I got some tea, so extra caffeine to help me stay laser focused. I got nothing stopping me from doing this. First I'm gonna measure out the elastic, I guess. This is pretty wide. I think it's like 3 inches. Just kidding, it's 1 3/4 of an inch. Not even close. It's just the perfect color. I bought this on a whim because it was on super discount at Joann's, and I just couldn't help myself. I got this in a blue and a red, and it was like 50 cents for a bunch of it. I could probably do at least 3 or 4 skirts out of this stuff. That's what I like using the thick elastic for, skirt waistbands, or middle of a dress, which I think is what's going to happen with that polka dot skirt I was mentioning. Oh right, so the outfit I'm basing this off of, they're overalls, and I kind of like the idea of having like really skinny suspenders with this bi-staple elastic that may get attached to the skirt after, or I may still want a little mini overall panel in the front. We'll see. Those are the kinds of decisions I'm going to make once I get the skirt done. All right, this has been a more serious preamble than usual. I think I'm like too awake right now. I swear this never happens. Here's what you need. Some type of elastic for your circle skirt. I promise there's a specific Elton John song that was in my head while I was singing that. Hell knows if any of you are going to be able to figure out what it was. You also need some kind of fabric. I'm actually going to cut out 2. This isn't the thickest fabric ever, and I'm probably going to need a lining. And I'm undecided if it's going to be this or a different fabric that I have that I'm eyeballing right now. But at the very least, I already have plans for another white based circle skirt I'm making for a show I'm going to next weekend that I'm so excited about. I will have a video on it. It's mostly just painting. It's gonna be, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that realized, but one exciting project at a time. You don't need a serger, but I have one, so I'm gonna use it. It's also gonna make hemming a rounded edge so much easier, and matching thread in a sewing machine. Probably scissors. You could try to punch your way through the fabric, but I don't think that's gonna give you very clean edges. And knowing me, a seam ripper. Seam rippers are always helpful. So first things first, I'm going to measure out my elastic just to have it cut, and I can pack the rest away. I'm going to wear this at my high waist, which is like the skinniest part of me. I've mentioned this before, but say like I have a 31-inch high waist, so there are probably go-to measurements you can use for how long to cut your elastic, because generally you cut it a couple inches shorter. But for me, it's so much easier to just pull it until it's comfortable and then just cut it there. Because different elastics have different strengths to them, and it all depends on the width. Like this is actually a very nice, like soft feeling elastic where not all wide elastics are created equal. So I'm just gonna cut it there. And just because I want this whole thing to look as fucking professional as possible, I'm gonna serge each edge separately. You can serge them together, but the way I'm gonna like tack down the seam allowance after, that's gonna inhibit that from happening. So I'm gonna serge these separately. This is just for fancification. If you are wondering what are some options to do with the tails of your serging threads, you could take a little crochet hook and tuck it under the threads. You can fold it down, use some fray check or something. You can cut it, but it's going to come unthreaded, and you can leave it if you're stitching over it. Fold it down to the wrong side, kind of over those threads, and do a little stitching there to tack it down. I usually do that. What I'm going to do this time is do a small row of straight stitching to attach these ends right sides together, and I'll just do that. Ta-da! Straight stitch together. I mean, you can handle this a multitude of ways. I really like folding the seam allowance down to each side because it just makes it less bulky, and especially because it's going to be very skin tight. I want as little shit rubbing against me as possible. Because I'm folding this edge down, I'm just going to tuck the little tails underneath And you can still trim them down after. One of these is like crazy long, but leaving them longer when I stitch it down helps keep track of where they are. And then it's just gonna make it look cleaner. Fucking shitballs. Oh, whoops. Good Lord, this is hard to get in frame. I don't know if this is helping in the slightest. Yeah, that's a good shot, huh? I better get a fucking cinematography award for this video. So this is what it looks like now. Also, holy shit, I hurt my elbow so hard moving the camera over there. It wasn't even a good shot. I hope you know the sacrifices I make for all of you. I have too big of a wingspan to be in this small of a room. And I did just basically throw 2 tiny knives at my own thigh. Off to a great start. Maybe I'm not as awake as I thought I was. Okay. Elastic band constructed. That's one part done. Now for the math part. This has always been the thing that's daunted me the most about making circle skirts. But there's a fucking calculator for this and it's amazing. This isn't sponsored or anything, but this is the one I'm using. It's by Omni. I'll put a link in the description. Right, I gotta take measurements first. I'm gonna go around here. What? Have I already lost weight? So I know this is a touchy subject. Couldn't tell you what my weight is. I just know that I have put on more the past couple years than I have had my whole life. Part of getting older, I think your metabolism slows and everything. Plus, emotional eating is definitely something I do. That being said, I've been busting my ass for a while now to not drastically lose a ton, but just make some smarter decisions as far as my food intake and fucking like go outside and do stuff now that it's finally nice out and we're not in the dregs of winter. And drinking even less, also helping all of this. But I have lost 2 inches off my waist and that feels good because I've been working so hard towards it. I want to give myself a little credit for like setting a goal and like working towards achieving it. That could be a whole video and I don't know that it's even my place to get into it too much because yes, my measurements do put me in like a plus size category, but I know a lot of that has to do with my height. Any of the like mean, hateful shit that I get about my body pales in comparison. It's kind of infuriating being a woman, huh? Or just a person in the world. Okay, this is gonna spiral into a whole soapbox rant and I can't. We do not have time for this. So, at my waist measurement, now I need to measure from where the elastic's gonna go. And I may just put this on just so I don't have to eyeball anything. I'm gonna measure up a little because there's gonna need to be some like seam allowance. So I'm gonna go like 1/2 inch into the elastic and however far down I want it to be. Kind of like where this is hitting. I do want some extra floof to this skirt, so I may go a little further down so that when it is flaring out, my whole ass isn't hanging out. Let's call it 20 inches. And then if it's hemmed, it'll be like 19 and a half. 60s mod fembot, you know? That's basically what I'm turning myself into, just without the gun boobs. Oh man, what a great weapon. They must have been hot though, right? So this is what I put into this calculator is I want a full circle skirt because you can set it so it's like a 1/2 circle skirt or a 3/4 circle skirt. Because I have an elastic waistband, I set the waist a little bit bigger because it's gonna get cinched. I didn't want this fabric to be like too tight or anything. The length is also set and it gives you some measurements. So those are the 2 numbers you need. And if you're asking yourself, how the fuck do I use those? That will be the next bit, but for that, we must get back onto the floor. I feel like I've been doing floor projects a lot lately. I need a fucking cutting table. Can someone just like rent me a tiny house where the entire purpose of the room is just to like be a cutting table? That'd be great. That's really what I need. As you can see, I have stabbed this at a particular measurement because I have this little tab with a hole in it. So say I need 4 1/4 inches radius for the waist. I'm just going to 4 1/2, but this perfectly fits a pen nib. Rather than trying to cram this through the measuring tape, I have a little scratch awl, but use whatever you have that's stabby, like a pin will probably work. Again, my measurement's 4 1/4, so I need to go up another 1/4 inch just to account for how far in this is. Poke it right in there. I was gonna do this on paper first, but I want a longer skirt and the paper is not wide enough for it. We're just going for it. All right. There's the waist. Also, I do have 4 layers here, so I'm only going to need to do 2 seams. For a full skirt, you need 4 panels. So this is folded here, and then there's a second layer underneath. And then my measurement needs to be 24 and some change, so I'm just going to hit it at 25. Stab that in the center there. Hold that with my right hand, because I'm not right-handed. Pen through the end again. That looks right to me. I don't know why I was so scared to do this. Gonna cut all the layers out at the same time. Okay. Ooh, I got real sleepy. At a certain point in the afternoon, I feel like I should switch to uncaffeinated tea, but just the nature of them, I find them very calming and soothing. Anyway, I now have 2 pieces of fabric that look like this. Can you see? It's like a really fancy Cher headdress. Or I guess Elton John headdress to stay more on theme here. 2 of these. So together they make a full circle. That is why this is called a full circle skirt. And this is what I meant by just the 2 seams, because I cut each one on the fold. This is so hard to show you. So I cut each quarter section on the fold so that when you unfold it, it's a half circle. So I only have the seams where my hands are, where if you just cut 1/4 section, like if none of it was folded, which sometimes you have to do if your fabric isn't wide enough to be folded, then you have to add seams to attach like these halves together. I don't know if that's a better explanation of what I was trying to say before, but hopefully that's helping. I'm gonna do just a straight stitch and then I'm gonna serge it. These raw edges and these raw edges. So I'm not touching either of the curved parts. I'm just sewing the straight parts together. Full circle. Look at it. Look, I'm beautiful. I'm like a little donut. So the next thing I'm gonna do, it's woven cotton, so it's gonna fray. I'm gonna do a row of serging around the entire bottom curved edge and then also along the waist curved edge. I'm not taking anything off. I'm just stitching like right along that already established line. Okay, ooh, beautiful. Look at those serged edges. So profesh. The next thing, and why I was adamant about serging the bottom hem at least, sewing something as perfectly round as a circle, or at least hemming it, is the fucking pits. But if you serge it, rather than having to like try to iron everything down ahead of time and keep like a perfect 1/4 inch edge and then rolling that over twice, when you serge, you already have like a set of stitch lines. It naturally wants to fold over a 1/4 inch. So when you stitch it and you fold it over twice, it's naturally going to be even. That's how I'm gonna hem the bottom. Fold it over once and it's gonna go right where the stitching is ending. And you're gonna fold it over one more time. I'm just doing a straight stitch right along this inner edge. You can do a bigger stitch. There's not gonna be any like pressure or pulling or anything on this hem. Is it beautiful? Look at that hem. Okay, but don't look too closely. Nah, it's fine. This always happens to me. Once I press it with the iron, that'll be fine. Other than ironing, I guess. Are you ready for the last step, which is attaching the elastic? Oh, I wish you had seen that. I was pulling this off my dress form and it shot itself up into the air and hit me in the face. Cool, cool. Normally, when you attach things, you do it right sides together. But if you do it that way, you get an edge like that skirt I showed you that I have now misplaced. It'll look all like puckery and cover up one of the edges. So, gotta go wrong sides together. So if I do wrong sides together and then flip this over, then both right sides are facing out. We get another row of a stretched top stitch. As with every elastic band, I'm going to do 1/4 the waistband. Find the side seams, fold that in half, find these, put 4 pins in, put more pins if you need to. Similarly, put 4 plus pins into the elastic. And then as you go around, you're gonna stretch the elastic so that the pins are going to line up with each other. Ooh, so something I'm realizing is I initially had everything edge to edge, like the white fabric was right to the edge of the elastic. You can still, if you fold it this way, you might be able to see the little bits. So shimmying the white fabric down a little bit, maybe even like 1/8 of an inch, will just give like a cleaner finish once you flip it out. It's not poor planning, it's learning as we go. This is where I started, where I had it all edge to edge. I was gonna peek out a little bit. I'll just resew that. Then as you get over here, where I tucked it in a little bit, crisp as a motherfucker. Yeah, same thing. I'm just gonna go around with a top stitch and stretch it till everything's even. Just do, yeah, teeny tiny little zigzag. Okay, the elastic's attached. Gotta iron it, be an adult about it. Though I don't want to, I just want to put it on and dress silly, but no, it's fine. We're this far. I've been so adamant about it. I want it to look professional, and you can't do that without ironing it. So, I done fucked up. It's coming to me. It's coming to me how I fucked this up. The problem is, I can make the elastic as tight as I want. Great. The problem with making this fit exactly my waist, the white fabric, is that it needs to get up and over wider parts of me. And I knew this, and I thought about it a couple times when I was like stretching the elastic. When I did this last round of top stitching, I like had that sinking feeling, you know, like you fuck something up. Because, like, if this was also stretchy and I measured it the same way, it would be fine because it would stretch more with the elastic. When I was attaching the elastic and I didn't have to stretch too far to make it fit, it should have clicked then. Obviously, if you're not stretching it that far, the elastic will stretch less around you. Could just install a zipper. Maybe I'll do that. I did already cut the elastic apart up here. I panicked and was like, at least let me trim that out. Yeah, let me see if I have a matching zipper. and then I can put that in. Yeah, let me do that. That'll be fine. Then I don't have to compromise the length. Okay. This took quite a turn. You know, I'm not even mad that this is gonna have a zipper in it. We're just gonna do a little quick and dirty installation. It's gonna be fine. Nothing to worry about here. So let me show you what I'm doing. I will try to explain as best I can, but I'm at the point I want the project done, so I'll try to be patient. I want the zipper to stop here. I'll make the tiniest mark. I'm gonna go like just above this so I can stitch over. I'm gonna cut down to that. Just pull the zipper down. Ooh, that's a little rough. Always check your zippers before you sew them into something, because I have been burned before. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to do the tiniest little snip in just a little bit, and then also down here. Because I have my iron right here. Maybe don't do what I'm doing here, because this is such a haphazard way to do this. But also, like, if you're in a rush to throw a zipper in something, this is a good way to do it. So I'm just folding these edges in. I did not cut a particularly straight line there. It's frustrating because like it will fit once it's on, but that's the whole point of elastics, and I forget how, I mean, everybody's hips are bigger than their waist, but I have a particularly large back end. As someone catcalled to me a couple weeks ago. So everything's ironed down and prepped for top stitching. I'm just gonna stitch right along this edge here. Normally you gotta stitch it right sides together and then flip it out so it's facing this way, but this cuts out that step. Not 100% recommended, but it's what I'm doing. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it's a zipper and I did it in like 4 minutes. And now for reals, try this on. I just want to be Elton John for like a minute. Is that so much to ask? Oh, I was really scared it was gonna go up just then. Everything's fine. I suppose I should just put on the whole outfit, huh? It's basically its own petticoat. Oh, right. I'm going to look for a petticoat and then put the rest of the outfit on and we will assess. Okay. Oh, God. I just want to fit in frame one time. Okay. This is done. This is what the back looks like. I just safety pinned these elastic suspendery bits in place because I don't know what kind of flare I'm gonna add to the rest of the skirt, and I don't want to like be committed to having these if like it starts to get too clashy. But it's really fun having these little suspendery guys. I'll be real, I got a little self-conscious once I like had the whole thing on and was like, fuck it, do I just make an overall panel and cover everything here? Because as I mentioned in my last video, and like I'm sure I've mentioned it in other videos before, but I've never like had it on display as I have an inverted sternum. Like, I mean, that's as much as you need to see, but yeah, it goes in and it like makes my ribs stick out. And a couple of you have commented, lots of people's ribs stick out. I know that's not the part that bothers me so much. It's the contrast. You shouldn't be able to do that. Oh boy, that could be quite a gif, huh? GIF? Not the thing to be discussing right now. Anyway, this is like the level of cheese I run at all times. Is I did genuinely put an Elton John song on and was like, fuck it, why freak out about hiding something? I'm really proud of the design of this outfit. Again, I still have stuff to add as far as the actual garment construction and everything. I know I had a hiccup with the skirt. It seems so obvious now, and like that gut feeling I had where I was like, I feel like I'm fucking something up. I probably should have followed that a little more. It seems so obvious, but I was dead set on doing it the way I had set out. Here we are, and now I know for future. I've never made one quite like this before. It's a learning curve. I'll know for next time. It's like when you get lost and you get real panicky about it, and then you figure out your way back and like figure out what you did wrong getting to that wrong spot. For me, I'm like, oh right, I don't turn here because that's how I got into that very stressful situation, and I end up taking the correct turn. Also, oh, it's probably been sticking out a little bit for part of this. I did put a petticoat under here. I'm still undecided what to do for the lining. I have a couple different options. Some are louder than others. I kind of want to keep it like stark white, so I don't want to put anything with color underneath it. I'm jazzed about where this is going to go. I'm going to spend maybe the rest of today trying to figure out what to do with it, especially because it's a full circle skirt, and if I do detailing at the bottom, that's going to take forever. End up drinking some sangria because I feel like I have overcome some big mental hurdles today. I'll obviously show progress as this goes, and I'm real glad I finished the rest of this because the skirt I started for a different video. I only got to the part where I serged the top and bottom. Like the sides are attached, the top and bottom is serged. Now I can like insert the zipper ahead of time and like plan accordingly. I do still plan to make some Rocketman zipper pouches, at least a couple for my Etsy shop, but I'm also, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. I have a bunch of paintings and I may add more to the stash, and those will be part of the July 1st launch. So keep an eye out. I have an Instagram that's Sewing Nerd Studios. I'll obviously have a release video here like I've been doing, just a little snippet kind of going over everything. So if you're not subscribed here and not following me there, probably a good time so you know what's going on. And then obviously, yeah, if you want to like favorite or follow my Etsy shop, then you can know when everything goes live. But it's going to be 8 a.m. on July 1st, and I will be releasing a bunch of new stuff into the wild. I don't know if this or my other skirt will be done soon, or maybe I'll get distracted and work on something completely different for a little while. But either way, I'll see you back here on Wednesday with another video. Thanks for hanging out. Hold on to your butts. And by that I mean, let me hold on to Taryn Edgerton's butt.